Alright, getting started here. My name is Jacob, and some of you guys might know me as Samurai Cactus, or maybe even by some other username by this point. But what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do today is how to do the basic setup for the flat ride system. So what I got here today is I have a ride that hasn't been really configured yet. It, however, has been rigged, and I have created an animation for this ride. But right now, the flat ride system is not installed in this game, and this ride has not been configured yet to work with the system. So if we were to sit in this ride, nothing would happen. However, we definitely want to make it so this ride stops and starts and is managed by the flat ride system. So what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do is how to set that up. Now, this isn't a video that's going to show you how to rig your rides or create animations or use some of the advanced features of the flat ride system. We're just going over the basic setup, as I think this is the most important. So that is all that's going to be covered in the scope of this video. So to get started, we're going to go over to our model tab here. And all the way over here, you're going to look for the model button. If you click on this, it's going to open a window. This is going to let you insert models that you've downloaded or saved to a file on your computer. I have the flat ride system right over here. If you've downloaded that model, could be in your downloads or somewhere else. But you want to go and find it and click on it and then hit the open button. This is going to bring the model into Studio so we can start to work with it. The first thing we're going to notice is that we have a model called Ungroup This. And we can ungroup this several ways. We can right click it and then we can go down to Ungroup. I'm going to go ahead and do Control+U. That'll ungroup this model. And I'm going to delete the README because we don't need it. So go ahead and delete that there. And you're going to notice that you get several folders. We get a flat rides folder, and this is where we're going to be putting all of our rides that the system is going to be using and controlling. And then we have a replicated storage folder, and a server script service folder, and a starter player scripts folder. We're going to first start by focusing on this replicated storage folder. And if you open it, you're going to notice you have a file here called, or a folder here called modules. We're going to go ahead and drag that down to our replicated storage in our game. So that's right here. Now, if you drag this here and you already have a modules folder, you want to take the contents of this modules folder and place that in your current folder that's here. You don't want two folders named modules. But since I currently don't have a modules folder, I'm just going to be placing this one here. Next, if we go back up, we're going to take the script out of server script service, and we're going to drag that into our game's server script service as well, right over here. And then we're going to go back up one more time, and we're going to take the client flat ride, and we're going to drag that down here into our starter player scripts. We wanted our starter player scripts, not our starter character scripts, okay? This is pretty important. And this is the client side framework. This right here is the server side framework, and the modules are various tools that this system utilizes. So with all of this done, we actually have right now installed the system. It's actually ready to go, but we don't have a ride configured for the system to use. And I have this ride right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have everything in my ride right here. Now, you don't need anim saves. If you have that in your ride, you can delete that. You can leave it too if you want. But one thing we need to make sure we have is an animation controller and an animator inside that controller. Now, you can make these by simply selecting the model and then searching for these things and inserting them. Just make sure you create an animation controller and you place an animator inside that controller. That stuff is already here. If you've rigged your ride, you probably will already have an animation controller and an animator inside the ride. The next thing you need to notice is that we have our seats here labeled seat 1. This should actually be seat 2. That you can have doubles, but you should name each seat 1, 2, 3, 4 going down in the model. The last thing we need to do is we need to make sure our model is named ride with a capital R. So we'll name it just like that. And now that we have the model named, we want to create a new folder inside our flat rides folder that came with the model. And we're going to hit the plus next to it, and we're going to insert a folder. And then we need to name this folder something unique. You can't have two rides that have the same folder name. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to call this my ride 1. All right. You can name it whatever you like as long as it's unique. This is how this ride is going to be identified within the system. Next, we're going to take our rides model and we're going to drag it into our folder up here. The next thing that we need to do is we need to give this its animation. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new animation right here. And I'm going to put that in here. Now, I actually have the animation saved right here. I'm going to get my animation ID because I've already created my animation, and I'm going to put that right here in the animation ID, and that will give my ride its animation. Now that I've done all of this, the ride should actually be completely ready to go. So if we jump in the game now and get into the ride, it should work. Now you're going to notice in the output we're going to get several things. The first thing we're going to notice that it's loaded up the client core. It's loaded up the tween config, and we're actually going to be able to see the animation's length right here, and then the init sync has run as well. So when you're using the system, you're actually going to get outputs that are going to tell you what the system is doing for each ride. If we had multiple rides, we would have another line like this, but for a different ride. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my ride, and you're going to notice that it's going to start ticking down right here. And once it's done, the animation will start. So as you notice that we can actually look around as well, that this has a built-in camera for us to use. And if we jump out of the ride, we can actually see the ride going and the animation playing. Alright, and this is pretty cool. It's also cool to note that now that we've configured this ride, it's really easy to add additional rides as well. So if we were to simply go ahead and copy this and paste it in, let's just turn it like that. And we'll name this My Ride 2 so that it's unique. And then we will place this in the Flat Rides folder as well. And then we go ahead and play. We're going to see that both of these actually run. And as you can see, we got the 2 lines here indicating that they have loaded up successfully. So if we walk over here and get in, this one starts. It does the countdown. So we'll let that start right there. And then if we get into this one as well, it will also start to play too. So you can have as many rides as you want, and the system is going to handle all of them. So I hope you guys found this video interesting and informative. This is the basic setup for the Flat Ride system. So I will see you guys next time.